Thanos, conqueror of worlds, collector of infinity gems, and apparently his head's really good for holding change. Who knew? Today we're going to be looking at one of the new releases from folks over at Monogram International. This is the Marvel Heroes Thanos PX Head Bank. Let's figure out how big the bank is. We'll put the tape measure next to Thanos' head. Seems so strange putting a tape measure next to a severed head. The bank is approximately 10 inches in height, and width-wise, you're looking at about 6 inches wide. The bank is based more so on his comic designs, featuring more the helmeted version of Thanos, and this is a bank, if you had a tough time believing that. In fact, looking at the front of the bank, kind of the same way we did with Deadpool, they've done a nice service to the fact that you don't see the slot anywhere. In fact, when you spin the bust around, the head bank has the slot featured at the top there where you're going to put your change. I believe the slots are exactly the same size to one another. I don't think one is any bit bigger on one head bank than on another. But it would have this section here where you could put your change in. Pennies, dimes, nickels, loonies and toonies here if you're in Canada, or any change that you may have kicking around, you know, between your cushions. Your couch cushions is probably the best place where I've found change. And usually I always find change in my car. I don't know who puts the change there, but it's my car, so I'm claiming the change. The coins will fit in the top slot there. And to retrieve it, you're just going to open up the compartment inside or underneath here. It's a little harder to make out because of the dark nature of, well, the coloring of the blue for starters, and of course because the head is so big. But take my word for it, the area to fit your change starts here and it goes all the way up to the top. So this entire head is one big storage area for whatever change. I say change a lot over the last couple of videos, but for whatever change you may have kicking around. A glorious looking specimen here is Thanos. I love this metallic blue that they've made use of. I would imagine, based on the way that you can see the seam line here, that the bank was probably cast in purple plastic and then everything else was painted to it. Paint is really clean on it. There are a little few areas in which you can kind of see the airbrushing of probably the metallic blue that's carried its way onto the sides of the yellow here. But other than that, paint is really clean on this. Very clean and equally so very vibrant. It really does capture exactly the essence of comic Thanos. I especially like the dark nature of his eyes, where they're just very dark sockets of black, and you've got the very small little, almost pinpoint sized pupils piercing their way through. It really looks great, especially the big sneering mouth that they've sculpted in there as well. He's got his, I always think this looks like a whale, but he's got like the creased, slotted chin. Of course, that makes this very trademark Thanos. Again, the coloring is really nice between the metallic yellow, borderline gold, but it's more closer to a yellow, the blue, and then the offsetting colors of the purple here, which I guess purple being the defaulted plastic that they used, shows well and really didn't require any sort of additional paint to it. I guess there is maybe a little bit of extra yellow that's on the top, but like I said, paint is generally pretty clean for this. The bust is relatively light. I keep wanting to say bust. Technically, a bust would be the top portion of the shoulders as well. It's really just the head. The head is relatively light. It should be relatively light because, of course, it's empty. The more change you put into it, the heavier this is going to get. I did mention this during the Deadpool head bank review. I'll mention it here as well. When it comes to these particular pieces, you may want to factor in the idea that you may never be moving them. Put them on something that's relatively stable. Don't put it on a very shaky to begin with bookcase or shelving, because again, more weight that you're adding by additional change, the heavier this is going to get. Probably to the point where it's going to be a little bit, you know, uncomfortable to actually pick this up because it's going to be so heavy. If by chance you have really that much change, I mean, well done. Well done that you've hoarded that much change over your entire life. I know there's a lot of people, I have friends myself, that you go to their houses and they've just got tins and tins and tins of change. I always say, what are you going to do with this change? Oh, I don't know. I think they always say rainy day. Somehow on a rainy day, one comes to the conclusion, that's what I'm going to spend my change on. I was waiting for a rainy day to decide, yes, I'm going to buy that pair of shoes. So instead of maybe actually putting them in individual tins, why not consolidate them, essentially consolidating the infinity stones to one place? Instead of an infinity gauntlet, contribute all your coins to one storage device, and ideally, fittingly enough, put it inside the head of Thanos. And even then, that sounds so strange, saying put your money into Thanos' head. To claim the head of Thanos, as well as some of the other heads of the Marvel heroes that we've looked at, primarily the Deadpool so far, you can find these at your local comic book stores and some retail stores. They're fairly inexpensive as well for really what you're getting for them. First and foremost, you're getting a place to store change. I mean, you could store change in a cardboard box, but this is a little bit on a cooler side of things versus a cardboard box. Imagine having Deadpool sitting on your shelf. Again, I've mentioned this with the other busts that we've looked at, the other banks from Monogram. Any which of them look like they're collector's pieces. They look like they're statues. It's till you get up close or start shaking them that you realize there's something inside of them, and that's probably going to be the change that you're keeping for a rainy day. Either way, though, if you are interested in picking up the Thanos here, the Deadpool, or the Infinity Gauntlets, both versions of them, like I said, you'll be able to find them at your local comic book stores now, and you'll be able to find them in some retail stores as well. Today, we were having a look at the Monogram International Marvel Heroes Thanos PX Head Bank. A couple of times I did say bust bank. It's not really, there's no shoulders, which I think makes them a bust. Without the bust, sans the shoulders, it's just a head. And a glorious head it is. If you guys wanted to follow and see all the upcoming releases from the folks also over at Monogram, I'll put all their social media links in the video description. You can follow them on Facebook. You can follow them also on Twitter. If you want to follow me, you can follow me, of course, on this channel. That's probably your most direct route by hitting that little subscribe button just below this video. You can also follow me over on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. Just don't follow me home. I don't think I've packed enough food for the hordes of people that are probably going to be coming over to my house. I don't think people are going to be that happy. You know, who's here, honey? Oh, got about 200,000 friends. They're just going to come over and have sandwiches. I don't even think we have that many cold cuts. But you can follow me on social media through Twitter, Facebook. You can also support this channel on Patreon if you wish as well. More videos will be coming your way, both by Monogram and other companies as well, so stay tuned for those. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.